Slake Mornin. I don't watch the news. Why not? Don't you want to know what's happening in the world? I have no curiosity in the affairs of others. But anywho, I've found if you pay close enough attention to the stillness in the air, you can tell what's happening in the world. And that might sound strange to some people, but I've seen this again and again. Occasionally, some vivid expression will come forth from me, and I don't know why I say some of these things. And then everybody's talking about something that happened. Yep. There it is again. Just like always. Some people watch the news out of morbid fascination, which I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. I toyed with that for, well, up until I was 33. In fact, I have an album titled that. The cover of it, painted in my blood. So, you know I know all about that. But I gave it up, you see. I realized there are better things. And I deserve the best. But nobody could make that choice for me but me. Most people, from what I can gather, from what I see, watch the news like gossip, which I suppose really is what the news is. Because they don't tell you all of the truth. Kind of like the Bible, which was never properly translated to English, considering her name wasn't Eve, it was Kava, which I find to be a much more beautiful name. Not that the name Eve is not pretty, but don't you think it's so close to the word evil? And they paint such a grim picture of her. Adorable, don't you think? The word they said that she was made from Adam's rib, Selah, the beam between. It does not mean rib. They use that word when they're talking about the tabernacle. Selah, the beam between. You mean Kava was made from the beam between Adam? The beam between Adam and what? I don't know. That was a long time ago. I don't remember that far back, do you? It said, God made Adam in Etzer. Etzer. A helper, but not like a servant, to fetch your slippers and nod meekly. Yes, Adam. That's not what that word means. more like an indispensable ally. Someone who shows up to save you when you're drowning with a torch between your teeth. Help. I got you, buddy. Thank you. That's what I'm here for. Someone else said, God is my Etzer. Does that mean God's a woman? I'll take it. Most of the time, most women are smarter anyway. Maybe that's why they changed her name from Maybe that's why they changed her name from Kava to Eve. Maybe because somebody was jealous of her intellect. Who knows? You'd have to ask her. Was she really the mother of all living? Or was it an interesting story? After all, God surely must be infinite, which would mean no beginning and no end. Unless, of course, God had a mother. But then how far back does that family line stretch? Who knows? You might have to ask her. We all know the story of the astronaut who went to space. And he comes back. Everybody says, "Did you see God?" He says, "Yeah." Well, tell us about God. She's black. I love that story. As it would seem, many folks watch the news like gossip. Many watch the news out of devotion to suffering. They think to have such deep, twisting sympathy for the suffering of others and to meet them in that same place and to suffer with them somehow alleviates the weakness they feel. I always knew it didn't. In fact, somebody told me once, I don't need you to sit here and suffer with me. I need you to be strong for me, like an anchor. Keep me from floating away. I said, "Yes, ma'am." Again, after all, the news does not tell you all of the truth. It surely must be gossip. Most people that watch the news, they're not going to do anything about what they see. in those shallow projections. So what good does it do you? Oh, this thing happened. Now I can't even appreciate the peace in my home. It's okay. At least we're in devotion to the suffering of others. Doesn't your family want to see you happy? Somebody said, how can you tell if you're with somebody who's not very nice? I said, do they want to see you happy? Seems very simple to me. Just like how I can pay attention to the stillness in the air and tell all kinds of things that are happening in the world. Oop. Got distracted by the beeping over there. Anyway, so many will watch the news and toil and twist and anguish to such a degree they cannot even appreciate the peace and stillness in their own home. They say, but I can't appreciate the peace in my home. There's suffering in the world. Yo, what about Charles down the street? He's not doing so good. Maybe you should give him a visit. Yeah, but I don't want to go see him. Better just to sit and twist about the rest of the world, huh? Fuck Charles. You see what I'm saying here? A lot of people only feel sympathy for others in, special circumstances or, particular people. But the news don't tell you all the truth. So we use our imaginations to make some up. But masters all around the globe have said the same thing for over 4,000 years. We create our reality. Yehoshua, or I figure most people don't know that name. They changed his name to Jesus, but that's not what his mother named him. He was talking about it. The power of the word. Words. Like spoken decree. Where you focus, there you are, as Saint Germain said. How can you tell where you're focused? What kinds of things do you say to yourself? What if you were to just imagine and believe with all your might, with all the love in your heart, to imagine as you enjoy the peace in your home, that joy radiates outward to the rest of the world and helps them do better. Some would say, well, that can't possibly work. I'd rather sit in devotion to other people's suffering. To each their own. No judge on duty. Have fun with that, kid. We all gotta grow up one day. You know, there are those who have no peace or stillness, joy even, in their home. All they have to come home to is rattling windows and slamming doors and yelling in the night. I figure most of them don't really care what's happening on the other side of the earth because all they want is stillness in the home, peace, maybe a little bit of joy, happiness. That's why there are so many stories of people leaving home when they are only 16 years old. Some people say, oh, it's so cringe to live with your parents. You mean you don't appreciate them? Maybe they just don't have stillness in the home. Then again, maybe the only reason they don't is because they watch the news. Maybe the only reason they don't is because they gossip. But you see, gossip is a self-destructive behavior. Why? Because when you're busy criticizing someone else's garden, you forgot to water yours. Then it goes barren. And if you're really not paying close attention, you'll make a dreadful mistake. Like showing your kids that that's how to live life. Criticizing the gardens of another and letting their own rot. Until one day, you go to judge your kid's garden. You haven't grown anything. It's barren. What are you doing? But you taught me to let my garden rot and just criticize others. Get out of here. You will not live in this home. And then that kid don't want to talk to their parents no more. I guess somebody was paying attention. There they go. Speak of the devil. I don't really see any devil, though. After all, just like beauty, evil is in the eye of the beholder. That's what it means when they say, speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Because where you focus, there you are. There were many other masters around the globe that have said the same thing. We create our own reality. Because where you focus, there you are. How do you know what you're focused on? What kinds of things do you say to yourself? What kinds of things do you say to others? Do you take notes? If you don't take notes on the kinds of things you say, if you don't take notes on the kinds of things you say, then you ain't drawing a map, and you won't see where you're at. Just be lost in a loop. Just like the ones who judge other people's gardens. You ain't watering it right. No, put that plant over there. Oh my God, do you see them? Don't they look so fucking stupid? Gardening. Well, I don't see you growing any beans in your garden, Charles. That's not the point. Just look at theirs. All lush and green. Look at them. They're talking to the plants. Ain't they smart? And before you know it, Charles just looks older and older and older and older and older. The clock is a tool, by the way, not a master. You sit there staring at the clock too much, just waiting and waiting and waiting. And you never get anything done. But what is there to do, and why do you want to do it? How would you know? Unless you took notes, drew a map to see where you're at. Just staring at the clock, waiting. All day, every day. But I say, I don't have to wait. That way I stay in the present moment. I'm not sitting there staring at the clock, waiting for the imaginary future that never shows up. Huh? What's that mean? The future never shows up. Huh. You'd have thought I've been waiting on it all my life. No. Finally, I arrived. It's just, the future wasn't something I ever had to wait for. Just had to take a step back, turn around, and look at the light of love in my heart. And then, I can appreciate the peace and stillness in my life. Some people look out at the world, at the others in it. They see people getting older, more and more wrinkly, frail. And they say, well, only got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 more years to go. But we create our reality. They are setting themselves up. When you say, better get to what you're doing now, because life is too short. Goodness, sugar. Don't appreciate it too hard. Better get to what you want to do now, because life is too short to enjoy. When are you going to take the time to appreciate peace, darling? When the future gets here? What about sympathy for something that's done and gone? For somebody, something that happened in the past. Where's the past at? I can't find that anywhere either. 10 minutes from now, it's still gonna be the eternal now. I ain't never found the past yet. It's always long gone. Right where it belongs, I say. Suppose that's for the best. It's not like the past ever does us much good anyway. A lot of people just toil and twist over something that happened in the past, all the while ignoring the garden of the eternal now. Yeah, I want to see you happy. But I ain't your master. Free will is a choice. I'd love to see you focus on beauty, peace, joy, compassion, love. I'd love to see you focus on those things, but I can't make you. Am I gonna sit here and twist and toil because you won't focus on those things? Am I gonna have sympathy for you? If rather than focusing on the gift of the present moment, you toil over things that ain't even right in front of you, I will not have sympathy for you if you do that. Because I know where you focus, there you are. What you put out into the world is what you get back. So if you want to focus on something that's not so nice, I sure don't want to add to it and make you feel worse. I'd rather be strong for you, like an anchor, like a good example. And instead of getting taken away with the rest of the sea, floating on away from you in the ocean. I'd rather be an anchor of strength and devotion to love. Because it's not love if I'm sitting here feeling sad and upset because you only want to focus on things that make you upset instead of appreciating the gift of the present. Now that's the kiss of compassion. Slake Mornin, beloved.